this episode of What's Up with Robinlynne. All right. Welcome everyone to this week's episode. Like it said, What's Up with Robinlynne? I've got back with another very interesting topic. I think it's really pertinent. Today I'm talking about genetic engineering. There's a new genetic engineering method that they call promising and perilous. Don't know exactly what that is, but let's just listen, okay? A powerful new technique for changing genes in insects, animals, and plants holds great promise, according to a report from an influential panel of scientists released on Wednesday. But the group also says it's potentially very dangerous. Okay? I'm going to let that sink in for us. That should already have some people, like the hairs is already raising on the back of my neck. All right, now. As such, the report from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine concludes that it's far too soon to release any organisms altered with the technique known as a gene drive into the environment. Even so, scientists should continue conducting experiments using this approach inside laboratories, the report urges. And the panel endorsed the possibility of conducting very controlled studies of creatures altered with a gene drive outside laboratories. There is insufficient evidence available at this time to support the release of gene-drive modified organisms into the environment, the report states. However, the potential benefits of gene drives for basic and applied research are significant and justify proceeding with laboratory research and highly controlled field trials. Okay? Scientists have been able to make changes in genes for decades, but the new technique would enable changes to be passed on and spread quickly through an entire species, not just an individual. I hope you guys is paying attention to this. Scientists have been able to make changes in genes. The technique involves combining new methods for making very precise changes in DNA with a gene drive, which is a sequence of DNA that can cause a genetic change to be inherited much more easily by the offspring of the organism. Okay? All right? I'm starting to see that they're going to create clones that are going to generate clones. They're going to repopulate themselves. I have more comments. I'm not done yet. Okay, that can be done using a technology called CRISPR/Cas9 and other methods. CRISPR, and other methods. Okay, I'm just thinking out loud, people. I'm sorry. The advance is raising excitement that it could be used to help fight diseases like malaria by changing mosquitoes so that they can no longer carry the parasite. You believe that? Okay, in November, scientists at the University of California created a strain of mosquitoes with a gene that blocks malaria. You believe that? Okay. The technology might also help with other insect-borne diseases such as West Nile, dengue fever, Zika, and Lyme disease. Now, it says it might also help. Might also. Okay, pay attention. Okay, genetically modified mosquitoes are being tested as a way to control the dengue fever, chikungunya, and the Zika viruses, but those mosquitoes were modified using more conventional techniques. Gene drive technology might also be used to eradicate damaging invasive species and potentially create crops that are far more resistant to pests. But the approach is also raising serious concerns. The major issue is uncertainty about what would happen if scientists start to release these genetically engineered creatures from their labs. The engineered organisms could upset the delicate balance of the ecosystem, inadvertently destroying other species, causing new diseases to emerge, and prompting existing illnesses to spread to new places. Some worry that the technology could end up in the hands of bioterrorists. One fear is terrorists could use the approach to engineer insects that spread toxins or new diseases. Because all of these concerns, and the report recommends that scientists first conduct extensive studies in the laboratory before even considering any kind of field test. Okay, so that statement right there, before even considering, they're already considering it because they're already doing it. And the field tests, we're the guinea pigs. And they're not doing these things to help. We're the ones that they want to eradicate. They use us as guinea pigs, they test us out, and they are creating these whatever species, and then also these species, they're what they're not telling you is that they are also putting in artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, yes. They're putting in artificial intelligence, and so that these things, like the mosquitoes, where they tell us that, oh, they're going to put in things that will eradicate the species. Okay, but they also will use them. They try to point out bioterrorists, but the military has been famous for conducting bioterrorism. Okay, in the Navy, with all those atomic bomb blasts and testings. Talk to any sailor who served in the Pacific, okay, in the 70s and in the 80s and in the 60s. And they'll tell you about how they were on their normal routines, and then all of a sudden they got an order to go just drift on out into the middle over here, and there's not even any live exercise or anything going on. And one veteran, he just described it. He said that there was a blast so big, bright, that he could see his bones through his hands because of the light. Anyway, I'm digressing. So they creating these things, these species with artificial intelligence, right? So now we're going to have insects that are going to be targeting us, okay, and injecting us with, because that's how these things are being spread, if you watch it. So if they can take that and release some, and they'll tell you that it's for the purposes of war, but okay, I get that, but they're really, how do I say this? We're not doing ground-to-ground fighting in today's modern military. We're not doing ground-to-ground, hand-to-hand combat. And to take out the people of a nation, I could see taking out the facility or something like that, but this goes beyond that. I mean, chemtrails, water system, and they're talking about upsetting the ecosystem, and the government and the military are the culprits of it. And we have to understand, people, that it is a real goal that for 95% of the world's population to be eliminated. And if you look around, you can see that one state where recently the water, Michigan was it, where the water was poisoned. And there's other places like that. Jacksonville, Mississippi, they're having that same issue. There are other areas that are having that issue. The water, the chemtrails, everything that's on the grid now, on the computers. Do you know how easily it would be for anybody to flip a switch, cut a wire, drop a vial into the water, release it into the air? So we have to really look up and understand what's occurring on around us, and you have to prepare to survive in and through all of that. And when I'm talking about these things, I'm not talking about, standing up against the man, marching, revolting. I'm talking about preparing yourself, getting food, survival food, stocking up on your medicines, the same way that you would prepare for a natural disaster, okay? And then, even on top of that, you need to make sure that your spirit house is in order as well. I am a minister of the gospel, and I would much rather be about evangelizing and exhorting and encouraging everyone to salvation. But when I go forth, look out in this world, there's so much going on in this world that people aren't aware. We're going around living like everything is all right, and it's not. And there's some major things, impending things that are going to begin to transpire, and the people are not prepared, and they're not ready. And when it all goes down, oh my God. And so before I can begin to try to bring people into salvation, I got to bring them in, try to lead them into their safety. The same thing that Jesus did. Now, I'm not likening myself unto Jesus. I'm just given a charge to do this. And it's taking everything in me not to just walk down the street and just grab the first person and everybody I see and shake them about their shoulders and, literally, and pay attention and get yourself together. And not condemning anyone and putting anybody down, but it's perilous times, people. We are in trouble, and the people are not prepared. We need to look to learn how to survive off the grid, without electricity, without cell phones, without water. Well, what I'm saying is you have to learn how to generate, how to purify your water, how to generate solar power, heat, all of that, because it's gonna happen. Whatever it is. So, and don't get me wrong, people. I'm not a doomsdayer or one of those, whatever they're calling these guys, an alarmist and all of that. I'm just coming with some true facts about what's really going on, and as it pertains to our souls. So, I pray that you all were enlightened and blessed by today's episode, and I'll be back soon. God bless you.